Hello, Glendora third grade families. This is Christy Jones, your healthy living educator, and I wanted to reach out and make a little video talking about the healthy living lessons that your students experienced in this school year. So third grade is one of my favorite lessons because what we get to talk about in third grade is understanding the concept of mindfulness. And that's a really big concept for this age group, and it's so fun to hear them start understanding what mindfulness is. So under this video, there will be links to the mindfulness exercises that your students learned. So have fun playing some of these games with them. They're all designed to help us relax our body, to increase focus, and help to regulate emotions. And so you can decide what your favorite ones are, but there's going to be a number of mindfulness exercises that you can do together. So I wanted to take a moment and talk about, let me even pull out the handbook that your students got. This was one of the workbooks that your students may have gotten, will have gotten if they were in third grade this year. And we were talking about mindfulness as a superpower. So we started helping them understand that mindfulness means being in the present moment without judgment. So how do we know we're in the present moment? What we talked about, we know we're in the present moment. I love the picture that we put in this book. I'm going to hold it up closely so you can see that the present moment means that our mind and our body are in the same location. So often as humans, our mind goes to the past or to the future, and so our body may be in a location, our body may be here, but our mind is somewhere else. So we started talking about what does it feel like when somebody is mindful with you, when somebody is present with you in a conversation. How do you know when someone's present with you in a conversation? So I jokingly asked the students, have you ever been sitting in the classroom and your teacher is talking and your body's here? Where is your mind? And they're like, it's not here, right? So they're starting to learn when their mind and body are in the same location and when their mind goes to the past or the future. So then I asked them, when you're at home and your parents are talking to you, and where's your mind? Is it there? And they're like, sometimes, right? And so this is a fun conversation for you guys to have together, is talking about when you're in conversations together, when are you guys present, mind and body in the same location? And when do we check out? So I asked them, have they ever been talking to their parents and their parents' body's there and their mind is not? And they're like, oh yes. So we talked about how sometimes we're so busy, we're planning in the future. And we talked about, as parents, we are always trying to get our kids food, to school, to practice. And so we're planning and we're working on trying to listen at the same time. So we really just had a good conversation and a laugh about how we don't always practice this concept and how much fun it could be to start practicing it. And so one of the things that we talked about is, how does it feel when somebody's really present with you? And you're having a conversation and they're looking in your eyes and you know they're listening to you. How does that feel? And the student said, I feel important, I feel valuable, I feel loved. Pretty powerful. So then we said, okay, have you ever been present with an adult or a friend in your life? And how do you feel when you are present with another person? And they said, when I'm present with another person, I really get to understand their point of view. I get to learn more about them. And so the next question we talked about was, how do you think that person feels when you are present with them? Their response was, they feel important. They feel loved, right? And it's just so fun. I feel so honored that I get to work with your students and have these conversations together with them. So we talked about, don't you think we can make a difference? Now that we're understanding mindfulness and being present with each other, do you think we can make a difference in the world by being more present with each other in conversations? And they said, yes. I even had one student ask me, okay, if I'm talking to a friend and I'm being present with this friend and then another friend comes over, how can I be present with this friend, but I don't want to ignore this friend? I mean, isn't this amazing? They're so young and they're being able to embrace this concept of really focusing their attention with the people around them. So proud of them for the work that they're doing of understanding and putting this into real life experiences. So then we talked about how we can be present with this person, acknowledge the friend that comes up. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. I'm listening to so-and-so. You can listen in if you want to too, and keep that focus there. So I invite you to play with this concept of mindful conversations and see what comes up in conversations around it. You know, we so often have been so busy having to go from location to location and activity to activity that sometimes we've lost those moments of that, you know, connection of being able to look into each other's eyes and be totally present. One of the blessings I think in this time is it's creating more opportunity that we can be more present with each other in this time. So I hope that this is a fun opportunity, and I wanted to share that conversation and just how amazing your kids are and their ability to learn concepts that help them actually make a difference with other people in their lives. So we also talked about what gets in the way of us being present. And I pulled out my cell phone. Right now I'm recording on my cell phone, so I can't pull out my cell phone. And I said, does this ever get in the way? And they said, yes, so often, you know, I want to talk to my cousin and they're on their phone. Or I want to talk to my parents and they're on their phone. And so I think technology came in so quickly that we've all been trying to figure out how to adjust. And so what can we do in these days and weeks together to put technology off to the side? You know, I asked them, what are some things that your family does? And a lot of them said, we will turn off our phones at dinner, or we'll turn off our phones at a certain time. And so once again, I just want to invite you into this time of how can we put technology, of course we want to embrace technology and we're going to use it where we need to, but how can we make sure that it doesn't interfere with those important conversations and us connecting with each other? So I hope that that's useful. Another concept that we talked about was mindful eating. So being able to use our 5 senses, so the sense of seeing, touch, taste, smell, hearing, to mindfully eat a food. So we did this with grapes, and we looked at our grape and noticed what we saw without judgment. So we were practicing that skill of not judging, getting curious and not judgment, not putting a judgment into it, but observing like a scientist without, so noticing the color, that it was purple, noticing that it might have darker shades. And then we smelled the grape. We actually listened to the grape. We put it by our ear and tapped it and noticed what sounds it made. And then when we put the grape in our mouth, we slowly bit the grape and tasted the flavor, noticed where we noticed the flavor in our mouth, what was the flavor. And so we talked about how we probably have never paid attention to a grape as much as we did to this grape. And so once again, this is another activity you might want to have fun with understanding the concept of mindfulness and just playing with it, right? And so mindfulness, once again, is just being in the present moment, getting curious without judgment. A big part of this lesson was our mindfulness movements. And I mentioned that you're going to have videos below that go over all of those, so I'm not going to take the time to do that now. But part of what we're learning with these mindfulness movements is how to listen inside our body. I think one of the most important skills that I really work on teaching our students is how to be able to slow down their mind and pay attention inside and notice what their body is feeling. So often we're paying attention to what's outside of us and listening to what's outside, but we're not paying attention to inside. And the more our children can learn to pause and breathe and do some of these exercises to pay attention inside, we're teaching them a lifelong skill of how to listen to their body. How often have you had a feeling in your gut that told you if something was right for you or wrong for you, right? Or a feeling in your heart. It's so important that our children develop those skills as well. So I hope you enjoy these activities. I hope they make you laugh a little bit. Some of them are a little bit silly, and and they can be used really for brain breaks as well, because since you're all now homeschooling your students, you can use these exercises in these videos, these mindfulness exercises, as brain breaks, once again, to help your students refocus, get the energy moving in their body, be a little bit of playful, and relax their bodies. So have fun and enjoy these mindfulness exercises, and I look forward to seeing your students next school year.